Euro 2024 is just around the corner. While it might be the chance to debut younger footballers, it's also a swan song to some of the legends of the game who might be playing this competition for the last time in their careers. For some on this list, it isn't just their final Euros, but arguably the last time they get to kit up for their countries in an international tournament. The next World Cup is 2 years away, and if Toni Kroos' surprise retirement tells us anything, it's that anything can happen within a short period. So, this here is an ode to the players who've defined football for a lot of us. Players we saw in their younger years and have watched for the better part of 2 decades. Here's to the legends who made the beautiful game beautiful. Starting with none other than the man, the myth, the legend. Who would have thought that the great Cristiano Ronaldo would one day be too old to keep going? He was electric in his youth, and his prime felt like it would never end. But he's a few months shy of 40 now, even though he doesn't look a day over 30. He's got the fitness and physique of a tank, and could very well keep going for another year or two. Escaping the rigors of European football may help him continue to perform beyond his years now and in the foreseeable future. But at the international stage, you needn't be a genius to know that his time at that level is coming to an end. If not now, when? His debut in the Euros came 20 years ago in the 2004 edition, and he very nearly won it that year. But underdogs Greece had other ideas. Since then, Ronaldo and Portugal have only succeeded on one occasion in 2016. He goes to the 2024 competition as a legend, and his inclusion isn't even slightly controversial. He may now be playing in the Saudi Pro League, but his numbers are hardly anything to scoff at. He has 35 goals and 11 assists to his name in 31 appearances, stats that belie his age. His numbers in the Euros are just as impressive, including 14 goals in 25 appearances, the most appearances by a player in the competition. So, we can still expect the ex-United, ex-Real and ex-Juve man to lead the line for Roberto Martinez. Much like Messi at the 2022 World Cup, wouldn't it be something if Ronaldo goes all the way and exits his international career in a blaze of glory? There aren't enough words to describe Luka Modric's career longevity. Despite arriving at the Bernabeu to fans who thought he wasn't good enough for the team, not only has he proved them wrong, but he's one of the last remnants of a Los Blancos era that's quickly winding down. Modric has consistently shown that age is just a number as far back as the 2018 World Cup in Russia, when he led Croatia to one of their best showings in decades. That eventually led to him bagging a Ballon d'Or at a time when Ronaldo and Messi heavily monopolized the competition. He repeated a similar feat in the 2022 World Cup again, with Croatia coming third. Ever since the 2018 final, the Croatian midfielder has added 11 more silverware to his trophy cabinet. That's an average of roughly 2 trophies every season since he last made it to the World Cup final. Make no mistake, the only thing that's stopping Modric is age. Sure, he may not be in the form of his youth anymore, but his abilities remain unquestionably good. He still produces moments of brilliance that make jaws drop to the floor. The ex-Tottenham man seems to be winding down his time at Los Blancos, and we can expect the same for his international career. Although we can't be sure yet if Modric is retiring from football altogether, we can say with some certainty that this may very well be his final outing in the famous checkered red and white shirt. Recently, we made a video discussing players with the most goals in every position of a starting 11. Robert Lewandowski got his due flowers after the Pole seized the striker position from Zlatan Ibrahimovic. The only shadow over the ex-Bayern man's career is that he played football in an era dominated by 2 magnificent beasts. Otherwise, there's simply no justification for why his performances flew under the radar most of the time, turning him into something of a local champion or a big fish in a small pond. But Lewandowski has shown that to be untrue every time. From lighting up the stage after moving to Borussia Dortmund, to tearing it up at Bayern Munich and breaking record after record. Even moving to a troubled Barcelona hasn't seemed to slow down the Pole at all, because he just finished the season with 19 goals and 8 assists in 35 appearances. Of course, those are hardly world-class numbers by his own standards, given how he used to end his seasons at Bayern. But the only reason 27 goal contributions in 35 games sounds underwhelming for a striker like Lewandowski is proof of just how great he is as a player. But age comes for us all, and it's begun to catch up with Poland's record goalscorer. At 35 years of age, Lewandowski has only scored 4 goals in his last Euro appearances to date, and has never quite gone beyond the quarter-final stage of any competition since his debut. Could that be about to change? It's unlikely. But we can't bet on the Barcelona forward to dig in and put his best foot forward, because even if this isn't his last international appearance, it will be his last time playing in the Euros. Because when next this competition comes to town, he'll be 40. Who knows, he might even be retired then. Germany has had the same selection headache for goalkeepers as Brazil. They have 2 of the best keepers on the planet on their roster, but can only field 1 at a time. No matter the manager's choice, there will always be detractors who think the ignored goalie should have been used instead. Although arguably that's the case for Manuel Neuer, there aren't many detractors who think Barcelona's Marc-Andre ter Stegen ought to get the green light ahead of the Bayern number 1. And that says a lot, given ter Stegen's been rock solid for Barcelona through the good and bad years, and remains one of their best players. It proves that Manuel Neuer is as good as goalies get, and for some time that was the absolute truth. Even after sustaining a broken leg, which seemed like a career-ending injury at the time, the Bayern man has returned between the sticks to reclaim his place. Although he's gone without a trophy for the first time in many years in an otherwise underwhelming campaign, Neuer's done enough to be called up by Julian Nagelsmann. But that may not be the case again by the next Euros. At 38 years of age, this is Neuer's 8th major tournament with Germany, having amassed 117 caps since first debuting for the National Elf in 2009. His time in the team has seen its ups and downs, with its best period coming in the 2014 World Cup. By the next Euros, he'll be 42. While Gigi Buffon continued to play into his 40s, there's no telling if he'll be called up or even continue to play until then. But for now, Germany is hosting the Euros, and winning the trophy on home soil would be the best way to end an otherwise illustrious career. The Henri Delaunay Cup is the only major trophy that continues to elude the Bayern man after all. When we talk about some of the greatest players of the beautiful game, Olivier Giroud hardly cracks into the top 100, but that doesn't mean he isn't good. There's a reason the Frenchman is 37 and has still played in Europe's top 5 leagues. As far as flying under the radar goes, Giroud is criminally underrated for what he brings to the table. At Arsenal, he was deemed surplus to requirements and offloaded to Chelsea, where he proved just how much of an important player he could be, coming off the bench to provide clutch goals and rescue the Blues time and time again. This season, he finished the Serie A campaign with 15 goals and 8 assists in 35 appearances. Although those numbers aren't breaking any records, they don't even begin to explain just how important he was to AC Milan's season. Giroud is the perfect gentleman of the beautiful game, unassuming with little to no pace and almost too gentle, characteristics you wouldn't expect of a forward. However, it's these qualities that make him thrive and continue to perform at the top of world football. He's the kind of player who makes others around him better, both at the club and international levels. You only need to see his record for his country. Currently, he's France's all-time highest goal scorer with 57 goals, ahead of the likes of Zizou, Mbappe and Henry. And in a Les Bleus squad that isn't lacking in firepower, Giroud remains the favourite pick for Didier Deschamps over Karim Benzema. You only need to see Benzema's records in a Los Blancos shirt to know he was the real deal. Yet Giroud remains a more consistent face in international tournaments. However, with age catching up with the AC Milan man, he's trading the red and black stripes for MLS side Los Angeles FC in the summer, which almost certainly means his international career may well be over as well. Comedian, serial winner, one club man, most decorated German footballer in history. Thomas Müller may not fit into any one position on the field, but it goes without saying that he has a place in history as one of the legends of the game. Müller is the best representation of club loyalty being well rewarded. There have been loads of players who stayed loyal to one club and finished their careers as club legends. However, in the grand scheme of things, they turned out mediocre for having accomplished little to nothing in terms of silverware or dominating the big stages. That's not the case for Müller. The German Raumdeuter sits third in the all-time goal-scoring charts for the Bavarian Giants. He's carried this same form to the international stage, where he's remained a consistent presence amidst changing generations of world-class stars. In 2019, then Germany manager Joachim Löw informed Müller and others, like Jerome Boateng and Mats Hummels, not to expect a call-up for the Euros. Yet that decision was reversed and Müller played in the tournament. Currently, he's racked up 128 caps for Germany, scoring 45 in the process. At 34 years of age, one could say Müller still has a couple of seasons under his belt. However, with age and declining performance expected before the next Euros 4 years from now, it's unlikely that Thomas Müller will maintain his streak of appearances for the national team. Toni Kroos is the only player on this list we can say with absolute certainty won't be playing in the next Euros. The Los Blancos midfield maestro shocked the world recently when he announced his retirement. He wasn't just retiring from the international team, but also from professional football in general. It would be the perfect send-off if he won both tournaments, the Champions League with Real Madrid and the Euros on home soil. For now, we can only hope. But suffice it to say that the world will miss one of the best midfield generals ever to step foot on a pitch. As these football giants bid farewell to the European Championship, their legendary careers leave an indelible mark on the sport, inspiring future generations of players and fans alike. Which legend in this list will you miss the most? Let us know below, and if you enjoyed this video, give it a like and hit the subscribe button.